rising through the grave, from the shadows to the screen. They decode what silence means. Click subscribe, let the veil be torn. This is the news we've been waiting for. Turning away, global watchmen leading the way. Every story, every thread, for the living and the misled. Raise your voice, let the signal soar. This is the news we've been waiting for.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. My life has value.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Global Watch News. My name is Lori Swan. Hope you guys are all doing well. If you were in the live chat, we do this to keep it family friendly. There will be moderators in there to make sure that we stay within the terms of service put forth to us by the platform we're utilizing tonight or today. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Take a minute, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell so you know when we go live. All right, guys, everybody seems to have a problem when I talk about Trump. I don't know. I mean, we accuse the left of having some sort of issues. We'll put it that nicely. But I think that the right has the same issues. I got called mentally ill yesterday because of my post, which I thought was pretty funny coming from somebody who's on the left. But yeah, so I have Trump derangement syndrome, something like that, which I find funny because I don't know. Anyways, so it just seems like everybody wants to have their head in the sand when it comes to their quote unquote candidate, for lack of a better word. I don't know. I'm not left or right. I don't believe any of them are good for us, are good for the continuation of humanity. We have more than enough substantial proof or evidence to prove that the people that are in charge are all for depopulation. They're all for 15-minute cities. They're all for reproductive, stifling reproduction. I mean, there's so much so much proof and evidence to support that these people are probably the worst danger to humanity around. And Trump is no different. And here's the thing. Trump is a billionaire, okay? You don't get to, I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but you don't get to be in that position without the okay of the powers that be. Trump's not a nobody. His uncle worked for the government. His uncle was the one that received Tesla's papers after Tesla died. So Tesla, he died in the motel room, the New Yorker, and when they went in, there was bins and bins. I don't know how many. I used to know, something like 50 bins of his work, of papers. The government took everything out. The government went and they tried to decipher the papers and they couldn't. So they brought in Trump's uncle, who had the bins for quite a while, and then told the government that there was nothing in those papers, but yet he only returned far less than what he received. So Trump is not just a nobody. People say, well, he doesn't have old money. Well, kind of he does. His father was the one that gave him his first investment. So it's his father's money that helped him get to where he is. But you don't get to where you are without rubbing elbows with certain people. I mean, here in Chicago, Trump Towers was bailed out with George Soros's money, for crying out loud. I mean, you see Trump, You don't get to be in the billionaires boys club without having the mother may I's. Okay. Um, yeah, I think that's what they were looking for also when they raided Mar-a-Lago. I think they were looking for some proof or some of the paperwork. And you know what? Say what you want about Trump, but he's not stupid. Okay. As a matter of fact, I heard, I don't know if it's true or not. I never really cared enough to vet it, but I heard that he had his ex-wife buried on the golf course, so now they can't. It's considered sacred or sacred. I don't know, but something about you have to pay taxes on it now or something. I don't know. It's something to do with if you bury somebody. Um, yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. I think Debbie says I think he buried him with his ex-wife on the golf. Thank you. Yes, that's what happened. Yeah. So you get some sort of special whatever. Anyway, so yeah, Trump's not stupid, but uh, there's a reason why he's not releasing the Epstein files. And you know what? I keep saying to people, everybody I post on the social media, release the files, release the files. Um, we don't need the files released. We have pretty much all the names. As a matter of fact, I was just looking at the list I had. I was just looking at it the other day. Let's I'm not going to pull it up, but I'll read you the. I don't know some of these names, so if you know them, okay. Adam Perry Lang, Akon, Al Gore, Alan Dershowitz, Albert Pinto, Alec Baldwin, Allison Mack. Well, there's a shocker. Alyssa Rogers, Anderson Cooper, Andrea Mitrovich, Andreas Pastrana, Angelina Jolie, Anthony Kiedis, Anthony Weiner, Barack Obama, Ben Affleck, Bernie Sanders, Beyonce, Bill Clinton, Bill Gates, Bob Sager, he's one, yeah, from Full House, scumbag. Bruce Willis, Casey Wasserman, Callum Hudson O'Day, Celine Dion, Charles Barkley, Charlie Sheen, Charlize Theron, Chelsea Handler, Cher, Chris Tucker, Chris Wagner, Chrissy Teigen, Cyndi Lauper, Claire Hazel, Courtney Cox, Courtney Love, Demi Moore, Dan Schneider, David Koch, David Spade, David Yargovsky, Dolores Zoragida, Donovan Mitchell, Doug Band, Drew Barrymore, Ed Buck, Ed Tuttle, Enid Barak, Ellen DeGeneres, Ellen Spencer, Emmy Taylor, Fleur Perry Lang, Francis Suarez, Freya Wissing, Gary Roxburgh, which is his pilot, George Clooney, Ghislaine Maxwell, Glenn Dubin, Greg Holbert, Gwen Stefani, Gwendolyn Beck, Hank Collier, another pilot, Heather Mann, Heidi Klum, Henry Russovsky, Hillary Clinton, James Franco, James Gunn, Jean-Luc Brunel, Jean-Michel Gaffey, Jeffrey Jones, Jim Carrey, Jimmy Kimmel, Joe Biden, Joe Pagania, John Cusack, John Legend, John Podesta, John Travolta, Joy Behar, Juan Pablo Moinu, Juliette Bryant, Justin Rowland, Justin Trudeau, Kathy Griffin, Katy Perry, Kelly Span, Kevin Spacey, Kristen Gillibrand, Christy Rogers, Lady Gaga, Larry Summers, Larry Vysotsky was a pilot, Laura Wasserman, Lawrence Krauss, Linda Pinto, Lisa Summers, Lynn Forrester de Rothschild, Madonna, Mandy Ellison, Mark Collins Rector, Marina Abramovic, Mark Epstein, Mark Lloyd, Eminem, Melinda Looms, Meryl Streep, Michelle Obama, Michelle Wolf, Mikel Artura, Miley Cyrus, Nadine Dorries, Naomi Campbell, Naomi Watts, Natalie Blanchard DePerrier, Nicole Junkerman, Olga Kurilenko, Oliver Sacks, Oprah, Orlando Bloom, Paris Hilton, Patton Oswalt, Paul Melton, Paula Epstein, Paula Hala, Peter P. Marino, Pharrell Williams, Prince Andrew, Prince Charles, Quentin Tarantino, Rachel Maddow, Rainn Wilson, Ralph Ellison, Ray Barzana, another pilot, Ricardo Vichez, Rihanna, Rita Wilson, Rob Reiner, Robert De Niro, Robert Downey Jr., Rodney E. Slater, Ronald Burkey, Rudy Gobert, Sander Berger, Sarah Kellen, Sarah Silverman, Seth Green, Jay-Z, Shelley Harrison, Shelley Lewis, Sohi Bidi Hakim, I don't know who that is, Sophie Trudeau, Stephen Collins, Stephen Colbert, Steven Spielberg, Steven Tyler, Salivieta Giazonzonva, Tila Davies, Tiffany Granza, Tom Hanks, Tom Pritzker, Tyler Graham, Victor Selva, Wanda Sykes, and Whoopi Goldberg. That is the list of, I believe that's the list of Hollywood. There's another one that's the political one. I have to find that one. It's somewhere in my somewhere on my hard drive. I have to find it. But that's just one list. Like I said, that's just the ones that are kind of have to do with Hollywood. And a lot of these names, guys, they don't surprise me at all. I mean, you look. It started with Allison Mack. I mean, she's the one with the New York, the cult, the sex cult. Had to do with the Seagrams. It has to do with the Dalai Lama. We did a big broadcast back when all this started coming out about the Dalai Lama and about their secret meetings that the NXIVM sex cult had on Necker Island, which is Branson's island, private island, which is only, I believe, a short distance away from Epstein's island. And when you have a helicopter, like all of them do, because you don't fly into the islands, you fly into the mainland and you take a helicopter out to the islands. Their islands don't have any runways, or they're all helicopters. So I mean, you could pretty much island hop throughout that whole area. Looking at down the list, Angelina Jolie, we know she's a freak. Anthony Weiner, of course. Bill Clinton's on there. Bob Saget. I mean, he was the most disgusting piece of POS I could ever think of. And if you don't believe me, go Google that man. Who else? I'm just looking down the list again. Charlie Sheen, of course. Chrissy Teigen, another one. She's disgusting. Dan Schneider, another one disgusting. Let's see. I was actually surprised. Hillary Clinton, okay. I was actually kind of surprised at Gwen Stefani, because she comes across as being, well, she used to come across as being like a goody-goody, but it's actually a homewrecker. Jim Carrey, Jimmy Kimmel, John Cusack. He comes across as being, a pretty good guy. I was kind of shocked to see Cusack's. Podesta, of course. John Travolta, yeah, man. Joy Behar, yeah, Joy. You know what? Yeah. Next time she runs her mouth on The View, she needs to just sit. Karen, just sit down and shut up. Yeah, she ain't got a leg to stand on. Her and Whoopi ain't got a leg to stand on. Both their names are on this list. Kathy Griffin, there's another piece of shit. Kevin Spacey, He's yeah. If you know anything of the things that have come out about that man in the last few years, Katy Perry. I think Katy Perry. Oops. I think she. Come on. I think she lost a lot of herself when she married. What's his name? I can't think of his name right now. She changed a lot. Her father's got to be so proud of her. Madonna, of course, you know. Marina Abramovic, of course. Michelle Obama, Miley Cyrus. Yeah, she's changed a lot. Orlando Bloom, that one, that one really. Poor. Uh, Oprah, Paris Hilton, Patton Oswalt. He's the guy from. What was the name of that show? Trying to think. So the guy that does the game show now. I can't think of it. Anyway, he's a weirdo. Quentin Tarantino, he's another one. Rachel Madcow, yeah, she's another one. Robert De Niro, he's a lefty. He's a piece of shit. Tom Hanks, remember in Whoopi Goldberg or some of those. Yeah, Tom Hanks, you know, the Hanks Code. His Twitter was weird with the pictures of the socks and the gloves and just things that were just weird stuff. Anyways, so yesterday, you know, like I said, the post rattled a few cages, which you know what, I'm shocked when my posts don't rattle cages. Okay, because the way the thinking of people has gone the last year or so, you know, you're going to piss off somebody. You're never going to appease everybody. There's always going to be somebody who's going to be offended or is going to think that you're being just mean. You're just being mean. No, I'm not. No, you know, you guys just want to go around, and I'm saying you guys, not you guys that are watching, but people in general want to go around with their head buried in the sand, and they don't want to admit to the fact that there are bad people around, and there are bad people running the show, and there are bad people doing bad things to good people. And I'm not going to worry about offending you, okay, when I put out my posts and I put out the truth, because I don't put out anything. I'm not fake news. I don't put anything out that's not real. So yesterday I was talking about how Trump, back in 1998, was accused by a 13-year-old of assailing her, and it happened in Epstein's Manhattan residence, which he acquired. And I showed the court documents that there was two of them that I showed, and one was this 13-year-old who was threatened and intimidated to the point where she went into hiding. She changed her phone number, just disappeared. And the problem with that is there's no loyalty among thieves. You guys ever hear that saying? Another saying is three can keep a secret when two are dead. So you know damn well that Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein probably had more than one conversation, probably numerous, magical conversations about the people that have been to the island. And so it doesn't surprise me when I opened my Facebook today and I came across a couple articles which basically confirms what I said yesterday. Epstein mentioned Trump multiple times in private emails, new release shows. This is from an hour ago. Jeffrey Epstein, a convicted sex offender whose death by suicide has spawned intense scrutiny of the high-profile people he knew, mentioned Donald Trump by name multiple times in private correspondence over the last 15 years with an associate and an author in Trump's orbit, according to newly released emails from Democrats on the House Oversight Committee. The emails to longtime Epstein associate Ghislaine Maxwell, who was convicted of sex trafficking after Epstein's death, and the author Michael Wolff included conversations in which Epstein asserts Trump spent significant time with a woman whose oversight Democrats described as a victim of Epstein's sex trafficking. The emails also include a message in which Epstein asserts Trump's, quote, knew about the girls, end quote, seemingly in reference to Trump's claim that he kicked Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago Club for poaching young women who worked there, according to the newly released emails. I told you guys yesterday, and I've told you guys straight out since it started, that's where Virginia Giuffre met Ghislaine Maxwell. Her father was the manager of the spa at Mar-a-Lago. The emails were released Wednesday by Democrats on the House Oversight Committee, who obtained them after subpoenaing Epstein's estate earlier this year. Trump did not receive or send any of the messages, which largely predated his time as president, and he has not been accused of any criminal wrongdoing in connection with the Epstein or Maxwell. CNN has reached out to the White House and Wolff for comments. In one email dated April 2nd, 2011, which CNN has independently reviewed, Epstein emailed Maxwell and said, quote, I want you to realize that that dog that hasn't barked is Trump. And then he said something, which was probably the girl's name. Spent hours at my house with him. He has never once mentioned police chief, etc. I'm 75% there. Don't know what all that means, but Maxwell responded, quote, I've been thinking about that, end quote. The context of the message was not immediately clear. About 3 years earlier, in June of 2008, Epstein had been sentenced to 18 months in a minimum security prison after pleading guilty to state charges of solicitation of prostitution and solicitation of prostitution with a minor under the age of 18. He was released from prison in July of 2009, having served just 13 months. Years later, his plea deal would face media scrutiny, including from the Miami Herald, and face widespread criticism as being too lenient. Maxwell told Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche in an interview earlier this year that she, quote, never witnessed the president in any inappropriate setting at any time, end quote, and that she didn't recall ever seeing Trump at Epstein's house. She said she did witness the two men together in social gatherings. Quote, the president was never inappropriate with anybody, she said. In the times that I was with him, he was a gentleman in all respects. Respects. The name of the person Epstein referenced in this email was redacted by Democrats on the House Oversight Committee, who received a ream of 23,000 documents from its estate to protect her identity. CNN has not been able to determine who the person was. Trump's relationship with Epstein had been under scrutiny amid a political firestorm in Washington over whether and when the federal government would release its files on the late sex trafficker who died in prison in 2019. Controversy heated up earlier this year when Trump's own Justice Department declared that it stood by its previous conclusion that Epstein died by suicide and that it did not plan to provide any more information on the case. This sparked an outcry in Congress and among members of the Trump's own MAGA base, and it breathed life into the efforts to pry loose new information. The House Oversight Committee successfully sought materials from the estate, and there is a separate effort underway in Congress to force a vote on compelling the release of more files from the U.S. government. That effort will get a critical 218th support when Representative Adelita Javala was sworn in on Wednesday. The latest release also includes emails between Epstein and Wolf, including one from January of 2019 during Trump's first term and about 7 months before Epstein died by suicide. Epstein did not kill himself. According to the email reviewed by CNN, Epstein wrote to Wolf apparently to address Trump's claim that he asked Epstein to resign his membership at the president's Mar-a-Lago club. Trump said he asked me to resign, Epstein wrote, adding, never remember ever. Of course he knew about the girls, as he asked for Ghislaine to stop. The White House has said Trump barred Epstein from his Mar-a-Lago club for being a creep. And Trump himself has said Epstein stole, in quotes, young women who worked at Mar-a-Lago spa, there it is, the spa, while explaining why their relationship ended. In her interview with Blanche, Maxwell denied recruiting at Mar-a-Lago. She can deny it all she wants. Virginia confirmed it before that girl was taken. Trump's association with Epstein has long been public. Though the U.S. president has denied any wrongdoing, he filed a libel lawsuit against the publisher of the Wall Street Journal and reporters who wrote a story about a collection of letters gifted to Epstein for his 50th birthday in 2003, including a note bearing Trump's name and an outline of a naked woman. In a third email released by the Oversight Committee, reviewed by CNN Wednesday, Wolf, who published a book on Trump's West Wing in 2018, wrote Epstein with the subject line, heads up, on December 15, 2015. That was the day of the CNN Republican primary debate, but there is no mention of Epstein in the transcripts. I hear CNN planning to ask Trump tonight about his relationship with you, either on air or in the scrum afterwards, Wolf reportedly wrote to Epstein. Epstein, according to the email, responded, if were able to craft an answer for him, what do you think it should be? Wolf answered, I think you should let him hang himself. If he says he hasn't been on the plane or to the house, then that gives you a valuable PR and political currency. You can hang him in a way that potentially generates a positive benefit for you, or if it really looks like he could win, you could save him generating a debt. Of course, it is possible that when asked, he'll say Jeffrey is a great guy and has gotten a raw deal and is the victim of political correctness, which is to be outlawed in the Trump regime. Wolf has indicated publicly that he has interviewed Epstein, and the Daily Beast has reportedly obtained recordings in which Epstein spoke at length to the author about Trump and claimed the two were close friends. Trump's camp has called the recordings false smears, according to the Daily Beast. So, yeah. Do I believe CNN? No, but I do my research. I do believe the paperwork that I have. I do believe that the facts show and speak for themselves on the friendship between Trump and Epstein. Matter of fact, let me pull something for you. Because, I mean, people don't believe me, but maybe they'll believe the president out of his own mouth. I don't know. Oh, let's see. Where is... Right here. I believe this is the one. So Trump was asked about Jeffrey Epstein, and this is what he said, quote, "I've known Jeff for 15 years. Terrific guy," Trump told New York Magazine in 2002. "He's a lot of fun to be with. It is even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side." Huh. Those are his words, not mine. And I believe that when Trump decided that he was going to possibly take a run for office, I believe the people that he confides in told him that you should probably distance yourself from Epstein. And that's why they had the public confrontation, and it wasn't done privately. Because if it's done privately, people don't really believe that it happened. There's always that room for doubt that, they're just, playing a role. But if they do it publicly, then it's seen by many, and they're, you pretty much solidifies it. And that's why it was done publicly. So, if Trump was involved. How do you know his kids aren't involved? How do you know his boys aren't involved? Because they're nice? Because they don't publicly cause any trouble like Hunter did? The one thing about Trump is that he raised his kids to be, I think, discreet. You won't see Don Jr. Smoking a crack pipe with an underage girl in the background. Whatever they do behind closed doors. So, nothing's ever been said. Nothing's ever been said. Nothing has ever been said about John Travolta either. Nothing's ever been said about anybody else's kids either. Hold on a second. Let me do something here. Nothing's ever been said, but the images pretty much say a lot. Let me pull it up. Obviously, you weren't here yesterday, so let's pull this up. Just a second. There we go. So yesterday I showed some images of let's make this bigger. Hold on just a second. Zoom it in a little bit. There we go. There you go. I showed videos yesterday of him speaking about Ivanka in a provocative way. I showed videos of him laughing and joking and chuckling about how if she wasn't his daughter, these pictures here, look at the one down in the bottom right. You know where that was taken? It was taken on a bed. Why would you take a picture like that of your daughter? As a parent, that would never happen. Not with my kid. Ever. I don't care if you're her father. I don't care if you're her grandfather. I don't care if you're her uncle. I don't care if you're her brother. That would never happen. And it have not, I mean, look at those pictures. Not just once. And let me tell you something. He had a wife. Why isn't the wife? Look at the top left. Why isn't the wife? No. No. That right there says volumes about him. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me you're okay with that, Patriot One. Are you okay with that? Would you be okay with that if that was your daughter? So you would be okay with that? What about the 13-year-old that accused him of SA? Are you okay with that too? We don't know we don't know what's behind that either. Remember, it's just a court case. We don't know. Let me tell you something about people that have money, okay? A person that has more money than sense eventually gets bored with the conventional things that they can buy with that money. They get bored with the boats. They get bored with the houses. They get bored with the vacations. They get bored with the clothes. They get bored with the parties. A person like Epstein comes to you and says, I've got something that nobody else has, a private island that you can do whatever you want and nobody will ever find out. People like that have to keep going for that next adrenaline boost, that next high, if you want to call it that. That's what sex addiction does as well. Drug addiction, sex addiction, kind of addictions. It starts off with, a magazine, watching looking at a magazine. Then you go to a video, and then after a while, things stop working. And I can tell you this because I have a friend who had that problem. He was so addicted to pornography and so used to gratification without bonding to anybody, that after a while he was incapable of having a normal physical relationship with an actual human or an actual another person besides himself. Without saying too much, I think you guys know what I'm saying. It stopped working. When that happens, they have to go to the next level. They have to go to another level to where they get that arousal again. And it keeps going from there. So when you have all kinds of money, think of what you can buy to get that next high, to get that next fix, to go to that next level to get that arousal. That kind of, excuse me, that kind of that kind of behavior doesn't know boundaries as far as, well, he's president. He's a man first. And people like that live in the flesh. They go for instant gratification of the flesh. When that happens, they run into trouble. And the thing of it is with it may have started out with some of these people. It may have started out just going there out of curiosity. But once you're there and on the list, it really doesn't matter what you did or what you participated in when you were there. Notice we're not asking for the participation list. Notice we're not asking about what they did. The fact that they were there alone speaks volumes. So once Epstein had them there, he had them. He had them by the short and curlies. That's when the blackmail could start. And believe me, when you're a man or a woman in the position that these people are on this list, you will do anything so your secret does not come out. That is career ending. Look what it's done to Prince Andrew. They've evicted him from all of the Crown's building or residences. They've stripped him of his title. They have taken his monthly allowance away. He's got nothing. The family has pretty much thrown him away. But that's okay because he's still got his ex-wife there, Fergie, because she was on that list too. Yeah, you lie with dogs, you get fleas. You are who you hang around with. If you hang around with a person long enough, you will eventually succumb to. When you were a kid, your friend had a candy bar and offered you some. Did you take it? Hell yeah. Got a candy bar. I'm taking the candy bar. Come on. Your wife's not on the island. Look at this beautiful. Look at that. Look at that right over there. Do you see that? Yeah. I won't tell. What do you think? I'm not going to tell. Nobody here is going to tell. All these people here are bought. Nobody's going to tell a thing. Your secret's safe with me. Mm-hmm. Yeah, most everybody on that list are still in their careers. You know why? Because the list hasn't really been publicly put out there. But you've got people like, let me see. You've got people like, hold on a second, Charlie Sheen. Charlie Sheen, his career is just about over. I mean, when people found out that he had HIV, yeah, it was pretty well over. Tom Hanks, he fled the U.S. and went to Australia. Everybody's like, oh, it was because of COVID. No, no, it's because of COVID. It was because COVID shut down the ports and they couldn't get any more of that good stuff that they liked. You know, that red stuff. Begins with an A, ends with an E. Remember those people on X during COVID? Remember Madonna? Remember what's her name? I can't think. Ellen DeGeneres? Acting weird, looking like hell, looking like death. James Spade, what's his name? Spade. David Spade. David Spade, same way, same thing. All acted weird. Yeah, Hanks got out of here before the everything closed down. He went to Australia. His son pretty much told the truth about him too. But here's the thing. You don't usually lose your career in Hollywood for doing grotesque things. You get your career ended when you don't participate in those disgusting things. And then you've got your scapegoat, your Weinstein. How long did that man serve? What? Come on. Look at who's the comedian? I'm sorry. What is help me out here? Who's the guy, the comedian, black guy who was roofing everybody? What's his name? Anyways, you got him. How long did he serve? Bill Cosby. Yeah, you got Bill Cosby. How long did Bill Cosby serve? Really? I thought that man was going to be in there for the rest of his life. You've got people like Eminem and Rihanna. I'm pulling those two because just because I remember those two were on the list. You've got people in the music industry, and we know for a fact, and I'm going to have to get a hold of Robbie. I know he has that old video from the channel Black Child, who talks about how the casting couch is real. It's real. Give me just a second, guys. I have to wake my husband up. He just took a nap on the road. Give me just a second. Sorry.
I'm awake.
You're awake? Okay. I'll call you
Okay,
I'll call you in about 15 minutes.
oh, that's perfect. Okay, I'm gonna get fuel on. Right, I'm here right at Napoleon, Ohio, the fuel stop.
Okay. Sounds good.
I'll shoot you a text when I'm rolling again.
All right. Love you. Bye. Okay. Sorry about that. But anyways, the casting couch is real, and it's how they do it. And I kind of I explained it to you a little while ago when they try to pull, and I think I'm pretty sure, and I didn't watch Diddy's trial, but from what I gathered, this was revealed in his trial as well. But what happens is they get these young and upcoming talents, and in particular, let's talk about Justin Bieber for instance, because I know this is what happened to him. So you get somebody who's like Justin Bieber. He's a very talented, very very good. He's going to go places. So what they do is they take them in. And they start giving them extravagant gifts, and take it to parties with under the guise of you're going to network, and it's not what you know, it's who you know. So we're gonna have you rubbing elbows with the right people, the right producers, the right choreographers, the right songwriters, and everything. And they take him to these parties with these adults because remember he's a kid, okay? And they tell him, you know, look, I can take you places if you do this for me. They give him drugs, they give him alcohol, they give him, you know, lavish gifts, cars, and jewelry, and you know, whatever. And they tell them that, you know, this could be you in 5 years, but you got to do this. So they do this, and they're being recorded. And after the fact, now they've got them where they want them. These kids will do whatever they want because they've got audio and they've got video of them performing whatever. That's how it works. Yes, Corey Feldman. Corey Feldman was a prime example of this. What Charlie Sheen did to that boy, he shouldn't be walking around. Remember back in the 80s with the Rat Pack? Or no, I'm sorry. Was it the Rat Pack? No. What are they called? It was Charlie Sheen and Demi Moore and what were they called? Anyways, there was a place. One second. Drew Barrymore was there. Brat Pack. Thank you, Rick. The Brat Pack. Okay, so you have, and let me pull it up so I can show you guys because it's as a parent. I don't know. I believe this is what it's called. Hold on a second. So there was a place. Here they are. Here we go. So there was a place that the kids from the 80s, what were they? The Brat Pack, where they would go. Parents would drop them off because they were told by adults that they were going to be chaperoned, that, you know, there's nothing to worry about, that your kid will be safe. You know, they're just going to, you know, have, you know, disco music or music. They're going to party. And here we have Scott Grimes, Alyssa Milano, and Corey Haim at Alfie's Soda Pop Shop. Corey Feldman, people should listen to him because Corey Feldman knows what happened to Corey Haim. What Charlie Sheen did to this little boy is criminal. But there was a place, it was called Alfie's Soda Pop Shop, and the kids would get dropped off there. Drew Barrymore was doing drugs and drinking alcohol at 11 years old. She was an alcoholic by the time she was 12, 13. Emilio Estevez, Anthony Michael Hall, Rob Lowe, Andrew McCarthy, Demi Moore, Judd Nelson, Molly Ringwald, Ellie Sheedy. We've got Scott Grimes, Alyssa Milano, Corey Haim, Corey Feldman. All these kids lived hard lives. A lot of them turned into drug addicts. Some of them aren't with us anymore. Look at kids like Gary Coleman. Gary Coleman was abused. I think people need to stop giving President Trump a free pass. That's what I think. I think that people need to realize what a Trojan horse that man was. His first term got us to trust him to the point where I think we would have voted for anybody over Kamala Harris. But whatever. I think people need to realize that he's not our friend by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, look at, and he may be better than the alternative. But he's not our friend. Doesn't matter who drives the bus. Doesn't matter which way they take. Destination's always the same, isn't it? Destination's always going to be, no matter who's in charge, going to be going to the New World Order. Biblical, right? Revelation says that the Antichrist will come. Book of Daniel. Read it. So, there's only so much leeway you can give these people. I don't know. It just, I don't understand. I don't understand why people protect him so much. But it needs to stop. All right, guys, that's all I got for you today. I am going to be out of town. I'm leaving tomorrow, well, early Friday morning. But I will be back early Monday and maybe Monday night. We'll get a show going. Hopefully I can get a hold of John, get back on our Wednesday schedule. But you all have a great weekend. And until next time, guys, remember, eyes open, no fear.